questions on to our experts so that your apprehensions, doubts, everything that you have about your career is sorted. Yeah. And secondly, there are going to be a lot of polls that I will be launching while we're doing the session. So questions about your experience, questions about what is exactly stopping you from becoming a PMP, or also collecting names for the certificate. So we'll be asking these questions through polls. So you can use the poll on Zoom to answer that, right? And also make sure that you stay till the end in order to give your name for the webinar certificate, right? So we're also live on YouTube right now. So I'm going to quickly share my screen and we are about to get started. Okay, so before I introduce Monica to you, I'll just quickly take you through what Simplilearn does. Now, Simplilearn offers digital skills across various domains, project management, and the other domains that just a few of them. Now, if you're looking for certifications or long-term courses for upskilling, just head to simplilearn.com and you will find courses that are as short as a week or a couple of weeks long to say 11 months long as well. So whatever your needs are, you'll find courses on simplilearn.com. And today particularly, we are going to be talking about the PMP certification training. Okay. And during the session, our expert Monica is going to take you through what a PMP certification training entails. But towards the end, I will take you through the enrollment steps and how you can become a part of our next cohort, right? So with this, I just hand it over to you, Monica. And after that, I'll launch a quick poll about their experience. So Monica, if you can introduce yourself to the learners.
Sure, Aparna. Thank you. Hello, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here talking on this session. About myself, I've been working in the project management, program management, portfolio management, all these kind of things. I'm currently heading the Agile Center of Excellence in my organization, Agile PMO, Director Agile PMO at IGT. I have about 18 years of experience with a couple of certifications that you see on the screen. I've also been volunteering with PMI for about, I think, 8 to 10 years now. So we'll talk about a couple of things. Today, I was requested to share about the next steps for someone who is PMP certified. But before that, I would like to spend a few minutes on why PMP, because I think that's something that many of you are eager to understand or still contemplating. Let me take my screen on the screen.
Yeah.
On the share.
Just to know the audience a bit more, I'm sorry, I'll just quickly launch this poll so that you know what the audience profile is like. So people on Zoom, just use this poll to let us know what your work experience is. And also people on YouTube, just take a look at the question and answer. I mean, how much experience you carry. You can just answer that on the live chat. Yeah. And once I'm done, I will share the results with you as well, Monica. Great. And also on the chat, thanks so much for your introduction. So after this poll, it is going to be Monica giving you insights, advice about how you can go forward with a PMP. So make sure you are interacting with her. You are also taking away advice from the session and also not distracting the other learners. Yeah. Great. Just a few more seconds and here you go. Monica, are you able to see the results now?
Yes, I do. More than 10 years, 53%, and scattered across the other. Yes, I do see the numbers. Very interesting. Thank you, Aparna.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the poll responses. And now over to you, Monica. You can.
Thank you. So very good to know that we have a mix of people, and many of them are a little more experienced than the others. And if you are still talking and contemplating about why PMP, that's what we'll talk about in the next few minutes, right? Let me share with you about what is the power of PMP, right? It's globally recognized as the gold standard in project management because that unlocks countless opportunities across the globe across industries, across domains. That was the first thing. Then there are a few other. It reflects your mastery in essential project management processes and methodologies. And that will empower you to effectively carry out your role as a project manager. It also enhances your credibility. And once you have the credibility, it's easier to inspire and lead teams in the organization and also impress, of course, the management and leadership. Another one is higher earning potential. There are studies out there which indicate that whoever is PMP certified, they usually enjoy salaries up to 20% higher than those who are non-certified. That is, certified PMPs, project managers with a certified PMP have earning potential of 20% higher than a project manager who does not have a PMP. That actually just shows you, right, what is the true testament or the value that this credential brings to the table. Then another one is that PMP certified professionals often rise up in the leadership roles. They grow up from a project manager to a senior project manager to a director, depending on the hierarchy of the organization. PMO, they kind of rise up the ladder. They go up to become senior leaders in their organization. Why? Because they have been able to prove their ability to get the job done, to work with the people to get the job done. And that is very, very crucial in today's world. The world is looking for skilled project managers, and people who have the right skills absolutely can make it in a world where there is so many people looking for those limited project manager roles. I did my PMP about 10 to 12 years back. But even today, I have utmost respect for this credential, not only for the value that it brought to my career growth, but also because I know that PMI ensures on an ongoing basis that the PMP credential is evolving. It's evolving to reflect the changes that's coming up in the profession, in the project management world. And that is why I feel that PMP is a very, very, very fantastic tool to have, fantastic credential to have in your toolkit so that people look up to you and say, okay, this person has a PMP, this person certainly knows what they're talking about. This person certainly knows how to get the job done. And that is very, very important in today's world, be it to impress the people in your organization or to be impressing through your resume to people who will be potentially offering you some project management related roles. And hence, I strongly recommend that anyone who's serious about a career in project management, whether you have just a few years of experience or a lot of experience, if you are serious about building a career in project management and continuing it in the long term, absolutely go ahead for a PMP. Because in today's fast-paced world, results-driven world, PMP certification is even more relevant than it was a couple of years back, right? So before we move forward, let's spend a few minutes to align amongst ourselves. What do you think a typical project manager does? And I know a few of you have different experience, numbers of years working as a project manager or in the project management space. I would like you to think about what are the typical skills or what are the activities that a project manager does, and maybe put it on the chat. Let's align in terms of what you think a project manager is doing or expected to be doing.
You can send in your responses on the
In
chat.
the chat.
Yeah,
Yes.
and also people on YouTube, if you're listening us. Yeah.
Yes, planning and execution, directing. Karthik says planning and execution. Yes. Brittany says managing and implementing systems. Yes. Javed, stakeholder management. Yes, absolutely. Virat Mahadi says improvement. Yes, Sudhir says UAT. Cynthia says managing tasks. Procurement management by Javed. Prashant, project cost. Yes, absolutely. There is so much, so many different kind of tasks that a project manager does. Working with all the people involved. Exactly. I'm so happy to see that all the people are starting to think about all the things that project manager does. But there is so many things, right? There's scope, there's schedule, there's managing the budget, the quality, working with all the people involved, setting the processes, managing all of this. the risks, governance, reporting, issues, resource allocation, dependencies and assumptions, change control, stakeholder management, like one of you said, communication, leadership, and so much more, right? So much more that has to happen. In short, if we have to say, a project manager is responsible to do whatever is needed to ensure project success in terms of people, in terms of process, and in terms of business environment. And that is what the PMP helps you with, right? PMP, because it provides you so much of information, it's actually that it's not just a credential anymore. It's seen as a game changer with its ability to bridge the gap between strategy and execution, with its ability to empower professionals with the tools, the knowledge, the credibility that they need to lead project to success. It can elevate careers to new heights. And that's not just because it can validate your knowledge, but it also helps you transform your mindset. It empowers you with the skills that you need for an impactful leadership and a brighter future. And that is why PMP is seen as the game changer across the globe today. When I was hiring PMs in my team a couple of years back, and there were so many times that I had got profiles saying, okay, these are the profiles that you've received. These are PMPs, these are non-PMPs. They all have project management experience. Sometimes some organizations have a mandate that these people, if you have to go for a project manager role, you have to be PMP certified. So maybe sometimes you don't even make the cut to the interview. But some organizations will say, okay, you don't mandatorily need to have a PMP, but as long as you have project management experience, you can go for it. But as a hiring manager, when you look at true profiles, and if both are good, and if both have done very good in the interview, but one has a PMP and the other one does not have a PMP, I can assure you as a hiring manager myself that I would be more inclined to someone who has a PMP. And it's not just because, I've done a PMP. It's because I know what value a PMP can bring to the table. I don't know the candidates. I don't know what is their skills. In an interview, it's only so much that I can assess. But if I know that you have a PMP, I know that this person knows what they're talking about. This person completely understands whatever is needed in terms of people, processes, and business environment to get the job done. And hence, as hiring manager, I would certainly rate them higher, saying, okay, these both candidates performed very well in the interview, but this person has a PMP, so maybe go for this one. It's a very practical scenario. So bear that in mind. There are things that you have to understand. Credibility makes a very, 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 very big impact in terms of hiring, in terms of getting the right promotions, getting the right getting the right good impressions on your supervisors and your leaders, on customers. When you have a PMP, people take you more seriously. You may be seeing the same thing even without a PMP, but when you have a PMP, people take you more seriously because they're like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about, right? So I'll just wait for a minute here, just in case there's any very, very critical questions. We'll just take one or two so that it doesn't stop the flow. Any one or two questions that have come up?
Yeah, so if you guys have questions to ask, please feel free to post them on the Q&A box. But seems like we're on the right track. A lot of them.
Thanks, Aparna.
Yeah.
I don't see anything on the QA box, right?
box,
So
right.
let's continue.
So okay, Cynthia has a question. How do you cross into project management?
How do you cross into project management? If you don't have any experience, then maybe PMP is not the right fit for you. Let me be very candid. You need to start with a CAPM because PMP needs you to have professional experience in project management. So if you are looking to cross into a project management career, start with the CAPM, get the basics right, and then look at getting the PMP because once you have a CAPM, it's easier to get into a PMP. But without professional experience in project management, you will not be able to go for PMP because that is a prerequisite. Okay, so coming back to the topic, let's continue with the flow. We know that earning PMP is not easy. It's very, very difficult. But a lot of the times people feel that once you achieve a PMP, it's done. Now you are ready and everything is moving forward. But it's not really the case anymore, right? Once you achieve the PMP, it's a very big achievement. It gets you on the track where you have to go and say, okay, now the journey will begin. But remember, now the journey is beginning as a project manager, as an experienced project manager who maybe has experience before as well, but as a PMP, your journey as a PMP certified project manager is beginning here. So it's a big achievement. Of course, you will update your LinkedIn, you will update your resume. You will let your seniors know that, I have achieved this coveted credential. But the most important thing is that don't go back to your old habits. You have learned a lot in the PMP when you studied for the exam. Apply that knowledge in your work. Seek out opportunities to demonstrate the new learning and the skills that you bring. Seek out opportunities to lead projects, seek out opportunities to work on complex projects so that you can demonstrate that now you bring more value to your role as a project manager. A lot of the times people just go for the exam and they say, okay, now I'm certified PMP, but why isn't anybody, giving me the attention that I need? You will get the attention in terms of getting at the start of the line. You are ahead of the line now. You are making people see you more seriously. You're getting more job opportunities. But once you get the opportunity, it's upon you to deliver as a value added project manager who's bringing more and more value to the role. So unless you do that, it's not going to be very helpful. So PMP is a great push, but it is a push. You need to embrace the journey beyond the PMP as well, because only then you will be appropriately moving forward in your career. It's a journey, it's not a destination. PMP is a journey. Once you achieve the PMP, another new journey in professional career growth begins, and that is not a destination. So as you move forward, you will slowly get into the groove of dealing with new projects, dealing with new situations, applying the learnings. And when you start doing that, you will start seeing that the dynamic market space, there is increasing customer expectations. The definition of project success is changing. Projects are getting more complex. So you need to keep up. You need to keep up with the evolving world of work. And so you need to invest in yourself to thrive in that as well. And that's for every professional out there, right? Not just project managers. You must understand that what got you till here to your role as a project manager, a certified PMP project manager, it's not going to be enough to take you ahead. So what got you here will not take you ahead. It's very similar to any other profession. Imagine a lawyer who's not keeping up with latest changes in the laws, or a doctor who is not familiar with new breakthroughs in healthcare, or even technically, right? Even developers, if they don't know the new programming techniques and practices, or testers who don't understand automation testing. Every profession, you need to constantly upgrade your knowledge and your skills to stay on top of your game. Whatever work you do, project management is evolving, and it's evolving every year. And that's why you'll see that the exam is getting updated. The PMBOK, which is the project management body of knowledge, PMI is also keeping on updating that because profession is evolving. The project management world is evolving. In fact, it's no longer just project management, but new ways of working, as some people call it. Um, and, and that is why organizations are constantly on the move. They want to adapt, they want to keep up with the dynamic market, they want to leverage the change to maximize their benefits. So you will see a lot of organizations are taking up transformative, disruptive initiatives to continue and move up and take more and more meat from the market. And that involves a lot of complexity and chaos. And navigating that uncertainty is very, 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 very challenging, overwhelming, expensive, and maybe even very risky. So organizations are needing people who can take charge, who can deliver change, who can deliver strategic value, and who have the experience, the maturity, and the sensibility to deal with the stakeholders and all the issues that are coming along with these complex projects. So if project professionals have what it takes and can quickly adapt, even while navigating all this uncertainty and complexity, those project managers will be best positioned to thrive in this dynamic landscape. So what can you do about it? Of course, do a PMP first to get you started. And beyond the PMP, approach the journey of your career with an open mind. I have a brief three-step mantra that I would recommend to help you on this journey of career as you move forward after the project management certification, the project management professional certification. One is invest in technology literacy, especially AI, because there are so many studies out there which is saying that technology adoption will remain a very, very important driver in business transformation. There are studies which say 75% of companies are going to be adopting AI technologies by 2027. So it's very important to invest in technology literacy. You may have a PMP, but you need to also understand how to use the tools, how to use the technology to assist your role as a PM in the organization that you're working. So you need to stay updated with technology advancements, acquire technical skills, especially related to AI, learn how to operate some of these most frequently used tools, platforms, some common issues. Basically, you need to acquire knowledge and build competencies to better navigate that digital landscape. Otherwise, what will happen is there will be those classic cases where PMs are spending too much time and effort managing PM software instead of actually managing the project. And there are research also which says that PMs, 91% of PMs say that AI is critical, but only 21% really use AI. So AI is seen as a very, very big market changing factor. So because of the potential that it can make a PM's life easier by taking care of some very mundane activities, PMs will then be able to, PMs who know, understand AI, can use AI, will then be able to use AI to offload some of the work that are not so important and can be done by AI. So they can be more proactive, they can focus on the important stuff, and they can be effective in their roles in managing the project, the people, and the processes and the environment. So very, very important to invest in technology literacy along with after you get a PMP. The second thing is prioritizing power skills. A lot of the times people feel that, okay, I've done a PMP, now I'm all set, which is true. But you need to also prioritize your power skills because while the technical skills are important, power skills is going to be very, very helpful in getting the job done. Because many times project managers, I think the experienced ones will agree that you need to work with people who do not report to you. They are reporting to some technical manager, some engineering leader, but you are responsible for working with them to get the job done and ensure project success. And working with people, getting things done with people who do not directly report to you is very challenging at times. And that is why it's important to prioritize power skills, soft skills, or interpersonal skills, however you call it, right? Can you think of any power skills that come to your mind that are very, very important for a project manager? Can you think of it and put it on the chat?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions, but yeah, please, let's make it power skills. Yes. What do you think is a power skill that a project manager should have?
So these, yeah, I see some messages coming in. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got it right, right? There are so many things. Emotional intelligence, there is communication and all of that. Imagine if you have to get something urgently on a Friday afternoon and you're asking your colleague saying, Aparna, I need this report by so and so. My boss is asking, can you please help me? And Aparna says, okay, fine, you need it, I'll help you. But somebody else comes and says, Aparna, can you do this? And Aparna says, sorry, I have to go. I have some personal engagement. I cannot stay back and make this for you. Somebody else did not get it. Why? Because you utilized your past skills, your emotional intelligence, your relationship building, your communication to get the job done, even though the person can choose not to help you. They're not obligated to, they're not reporting to you. And research shows that there's a clear connection between power skills and project success. So even if you have a PMP, you will see in PMP that there's a lot of focus, there are a lot of details about these power skills. You will see there are a lot of MMA, models, methods, and artifacts that will help you how you can build your power skills. There's a lot of frameworks. There is the How do you manage change? How do you build leadership skills? How do you understand? How do you deal with stakeholders? There is a lot of content in that you will need to understand, and it's tested in the PMP as well. But knowing what skills are and applying those skills are two different things. So when you start applying them in your job, it's going to be very, very important because that sets the context of how people work together. And in some cases, past skills are so important that whether you have it or you don't have it can make the difference between you getting the job or not, getting the promotion or not. So again, very important to prioritize the past skills. And the next one is connecting with the PMI community, right? Why isn't it going to the screen? Okay. Connecting with the PMI community. And this is one more very good benefit that you get as a PMP, that you get the access to a worldwide community of project practitioners across the globe. When I said worldwide, I actually meant the same, but different industries, different experiences, and different numbers of years of experience. When you are connected with the community, and when you stay connected with the community, even after you earn your PMP, it is very, very beneficial for your personal. So staying current in the field, what are the new tools, what are the new trends, heads up. It also opens up a lot of networking opportunities. So networking means collaboration, means mentorship, means job opportunities. And PMI has got over 100 chapters globally. So engage with regional chapters for events, workshops, networking, and all of that. Um, you will also be able to earn PDUs. If you have looked up the PMP, you understand that once you earn a PMP, you need to renew it every 3 years by earning a specific number of PDUs. And those PDUs you need to earn in those 3 years. And you can utilize your connection with the PMI community to get that, right? Because you will have access to some events, webinars, courses, a lot of things. And you can also attend some of these local networking meets and tap into the local community. That's very, very helpful for jobs, getting upskilled and seeing what skills are required to step up and keep up. Discounts, all of that also come in with certifications. So there will also be some e-learning courses that you can access, some paid, some free. All of that access is made available. And another thing is volunteering, right? You can also give back to the community by volunteering. And some people say, why should I volunteer if I don't have the time? Which is true. But if you have the time and if you can make time to volunteer, it's a fantastic way to expose yourself to a world beyond your organization, because that builds your leadership skills and demonstrates your commitment to the profession. And especially for people like me who have been volunteering for a couple of years, I think 8 to 10 years now, it has been very, very helpful. When people would look at me in an organization, they would look at and say, okay, you're a volunteer with PMI. I would get information about what PMI is doing, what the profession is doing, what's happening in the PMP, what are the new things that are coming up. And people in my organization would be looking up to me saying that, wow, you know so much, can you help us? So you're able to position yourself better in your organization because not only are you a PMP, but you are ongoing working or connecting with PMI, you're getting a lots of heads up, and you're seen as a credible ambassador of PMI in your organization. So you get more information and you know what's happening in the world, you know what's happening in the profession, you know what's changing, and you know how to get ready for it. What are the resources that can help you? And when you are investing in yourself, the PMI's community superpower is a great way to do that. So I will take a pause here and then maybe just ask you questions. I think there are a few, maybe we'll just take two or three.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly start with one of them. So can staffing professionals also pursue PMP? That's one
Yes,
question I have.
absolutely. As long as you are able to reflect project experience, because resourcing is one of the key things in project management. And a lot of project management struggle with resourcing because that's one of the major problems in most projects. So absolutely you can, but you have to see whether your experience fits into the prerequisite of a project management. from a credential perspective, yes, it can still help you in your career.
Got it. And Syed has a question. What is the latest with PMP exam? Is it going to change soon, the exam format, or is there an update or anything?
As of now, there is the current exam format is continuing. There is no news for any change. It will change eventually, but when it happens, you will be getting heads up on the website and all the channels that PMI is going to be changing the exam by so and so. For now, I think we are where we are.
Right, got it. And I think I'll just ask you one more question, two of them actually, which are related, kind of similar. So is PMP career path, so with the PMP career path, can someone really achieve a CXO role? Or what is the career graph, for PMP at the top level? So kind of related questions.
Yeah, so what I can tell you is that when you get a PMP, like I said, it helps you transform your mindset. It helps you stay updated. It still helps you with skills that you need, and it helps you point to the right direction where you can get resources in terms of continuous improvement. And let me give my own example, right? When I did PMP a couple, like I think 10, 12 years back, 10 years back, I was a project for more complex projects, senior projects. I was deeply. And I know a couple of my colleagues have still moved ahead in terms of their career. I see people who are in like a VP, a senior VP, who have done PMP, and they will still swear and say, have the project managers done the PMP? Push them to it, because it opens up your mind to think in the right space. And as a VP, as a senior VP, a senior director, a director, you have to be responsible for strategy. You have to be responsible for the roadmap to ensure that strategy is working. And when you work with a project, you're doing something very similar. You have a project plan, you're working with stakeholders, you're working with risks, so it's very, very similar. So the career path says, as long as you are investing in yourself on an ongoing basis, and not dropping off after you have done your PMP, you can well aligned be moving to the right path. And given you are in the right space at the right time, you will certainly move up the ladder.
All right. Do you want to take one more question
Sure.
before we proceed? I think this is a very common question that you might get. It's a very basic one. What is the difference between a project manager and a product owner?
So it's completely different, right? So a project manager in base language definition, a project manager is responsible saying that, okay, this is the project. For example, you are tasked at releasing a new product. A product owner will say, in the product, for this product to be successful, I need these features. And the product owner will work with all the other people and tell what is needed for these features. Help them understand that, okay, for these features, I need this. The customers will want like this, the users will want like this. The technical people will ask them saying that, okay, what are the clarifications? So product owner is responsible for the features or what the product is expected to deliver. So they are defining the scope in a way, right? And what is important? What is priorities? So supposing you have 20 features, you say the product owner says these 5 features are top priority, or which, as we say, the minimum viable product. And then the next few features, this can be an add-on, this can be an add-on, this can be an add-on. It can be like a car that you have a basic version and then you have a premium version, you have additional things. So they say, okay, this is the basic version. Now these are the additional features. They can be made available later based on the extra pricing or whatever. So they decide what features are important for the product to be successful. A project manager takes this entire thing and says, okay, now if I have to deliver this this product, what should the project look like? What areas I have to work on? Which people need to be on the project? Developers, testers, whatever other people are involved, security. The project manager works with all these other people to ensure that they are doing their pieces or their bits for this product over a past span of maybe 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever is the project duration. So throughout the project duration, the project manager is driving the project so that the product can be released. So the product being released is a project, if we have to say so, as an example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think.
Let me know if you have questions beyond that.
No, I think that makes sense. We'll take some more questions after you're done. Probably you will continue and then.
Let me quickly skim through the rest. So these are the three things that I would absolutely recommend, that when you go for a PMP, please do not approach it just as a book, just reading the PMBOK and the other references and clearing the exam. Understand that these are, it's not theoretical knowledge, it's practical experience that you're being tested on. It's your mindset that you're being tested on. And once you gain the PMP, once you start working as a project manager, even more applying these skills is where you can make a difference. And as you start applying these skills, remember to focus on these three aspects that will help you as your journey continues, as you move up the career, because career progression is very, very dependent on how you are investing in yourself. And there are many, many resources for doing all this. And there are many free resources as well. So check out the PMI website. It will point you to a lot of resources, articles, podcasts, tools, templates, even some AI specific information, e-learning courses. Some are free, some are not, volunteering opportunities. See what works for you, pick up that. You will find that they are very, very helpful to your career as a project manager. And there are studies in the market that are showing that 71% of project managers will be needing advanced project management skills. It's no longer basic project management. It's some people think that just managing a project from start to ending is project management. No, it's not. That's called managing the schedule. Project management skills involve a lot more things that we spoke about in the beginning of the session. So there's going to be advanced project management skills that are required. And by next year, about 3 million project management jobs are expected to be created. So there are jobs, there are more and more jobs, but you will be able to fit there only if you are upskilling yourself to get there. So work on yourself, invest in yourself. And by investing in the PMP, you're investing in your future as a transformative force in project management. So as I conclude, I would like to say that a PM's career path is a very, very happening journey. And as the saying goes, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, which is your PMP. So to do or not to do, the choice is up to you, right? So that is where I'd like to kind of stop, and maybe we can take a few more questions.
Right. Great. So I think we'll just take a couple of them and then we'll explain them about the certification training as well. So one big question that we have is, as I have 14 years of experience with mixed profile, like 7 core IT, 3 IT ops, 4, okay, I think 7 core IT experience, 3 years of IT ops, and 4 years of IT support, and now forgot core development. So how here will PMP help me? And do they have to really polish my programming or computer skills? That's the question.
So for PMP, you don't need any programming or computer skills. You just need your project experience, and you need the decision whether you want to, in a long term, get into the project management career. If you are not sure, then I would suggest take time and be sure, because PMP is expensive. Let's be honest, right? It's expensive, and it requires you to invest in yourself. It's also very difficult to do a PMP. It needs you to spend that time and effort to prepare, study, learn, and make that leap, to take that leap. So I would suggest that if you are really 100% sure that you want to, continue in a long-term project management career, only then go for a PMP. If you're not sure, take some time, explore. Even a CAPM maybe can help you. But programming skills, computer skills, you don't need at all. If you're looking to switch to project management, is when you need a PMP.
Got it. Got it. So someone is asking, is it better to do a CSM before doing a PMP? Does
Absolutely not required.
hmm,
Um, and I know some people may not like this answer, but there are so many CSMs out there. It's the value that the credential of CSM brings to the table is almost negligible.
hmm,
And as a hiring manager, and please don't take offense, but as a hiring manager, if somebody says I am a CSM, I'm like, okay, so what? It really brings almost no value add because there are so many people who have done CSM, but very few people have done a PMP.
yeah,
PMP does not need you to do CSM. PMP will just take you through whatever is needed for you to ensure project success. Like we said about people, process, and business environment. It will also help you to understand the predictive and adaptive modes of delivery and the hybrid mode, which includes both of that. So PMP will give you everything that you need in terms of agile as well for an agile project manager if you're working on agile projects. So you don't need a CSM, not at all. Don't bother if you've not, don't even go that route, is what I would suggest.
right. Thanks, Monica, for answering that. We have one more big question. So I think meanwhile, if anybody is interested to know more about our PMP certification training and also talk to a learning advisor, of course, I will take you through these details. You can click on a yes if you really are interested in taking up our training and understanding a bit more. And while you guys do that, I'll request Monica to take one more question because we have a lot of them today. So Blue Way has a question. That's his email ID. How are the work experience and education qualifications evaluated to qualify us for the certification after passing the PMP exam? Is it possible that the education and work qualifications are not approved by PMI and we not receive the certificate? But before the course starts, does the institute actually check these documents? I mean, I know the answer is no, but yeah, Monica, I'll let you elaborate.
No, I think Aparna, go ahead. I think the answer is very clear. Maybe you can go ahead and explain.
So no for you don't have to really be eligible for taking a certification training. You will have to be eligible for if you have to be taking the PMP exam and also eventually the certificate, you will need to meet the education criteria and also the experience criteria, right, Monica?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, all right. So that is answered. And with this, let's just take a pause on questions. I'm just going to highlight a bit about our PMP certification training that we have. Now, most of what the PMP certification entails is covered by this particular course. You can see that after the introduction, we take you through and help you understand the business environment because you are eventually solving a business problem and it should eventually help the business, so you are given to understand that, and then you are able to understand the different phases of a project, how to start, plan, execute and lead the project, and then eventually close the project, right? So these are the modules that you will be learning, and also towards the end there's a complimentary course on how you can leverage Gen AI in project and quality management, right? So all of these are live instructor-led sessions. There are also some video lectures for you to look at. Now, this is just the learning module. Now, along with this, you also have access to 12 simulation tests and a question bank that contains 500 plus PMI exclusive questions, right? And then you are also given study plans just so that you are ready for the PMP test. Okay. So this is just a brief about what the coaching entails. There are obviously more details here on the course page. And remember that if you have questions to ask during your training, you have access to 24/7 assistance. Yeah. So these are some of the skills that are covered, which are essentially the skills that you will need to know and gain in order to pass the PMP exam eventually, right? So I'm just going to give you the link to the course page here, and we're going to go back to the questions. I know most of you are waiting to get them answered. Please still use the Q&A box because we might miss and we won't be able to keep track of the questions, right? Okay, so you have the link to the course page. I'm keeping the chat box off for a while so that the link remains. And we're back to questions again. Angelia has a question. when are you assigned? Okay, when you're assigned to a project that is already in progress, where do you begin?
So first, I would say take a PMP. You'll get the answers by yourself. But otherwise, from a practical experience, you still have to gather insights about who the stakeholders are, what the scope is, what's the schedule committed, what are the issues, what are the current open concerns, where we are in terms of the project, and accordingly, then you will be able to pick up and continuously move forward with it. It's not going to be a one-time information. It's a one-time starting information, but then as you progress, you'll get more and more information. Fact finding and where we are is where we'll start.
Got it.
I see the Q&A box, Aparna. Maybe I'll quickly pick up some quickly because I think we may run out of time.
Sure, sure, sure.
I see Angela's question, Angelia's question. What's the latest PMBOK that's being used? It's PMBOK 7, 7th edition. I see one more. If I put 90% of effort on PMP and answer all your questions, is it still that um, I will, where did that question go? Phew, scrolling so quickly.
At the bottom, yeah.
Is it still that I'll not be through because I don't have a certification? It's not that, Prashant. It's that as a hiring manager, they will ask questions. You will respond. You may be doing very good in your interview. If somebody who has a PMP is not able to respond to the questions and you are able to respond to the questions, absolutely you are at a better position and the hiring manager will pick you even though you don't have a PMP. But if the person who has a PMP is also answered very well, and they have made the same impression, given the similar kind of answers as someone who has performed equally good as someone as a certified and a non-certified project manager, the hiring manager will usually prefer to go with the PMP certified person just because they feel they are more credible. Because they don't know them as people, they feel that a PMP brings more credibility to the value add that they can get. That's what it is.
Right. So I think I'll pass on two more questions that we have on YouTube. Ishtiaq has a question. He has got 5 years of experience in project management. Can he directly apply for PMP certification? Um, Again, I know the answer is no, because you need to have a certain amount of contact hours as training. You need to be trained for the PMP test, and that is why you need the certification training. Is that right, Monica? Did I?
Yeah, so as per the prerequisites, you need to have some project experience. If you're fulfilling that, you need to have the second prerequisite, which is the 35 contact hour training, which Aparna was explaining about what Simplilearn offers and many others offer. But you need to go through that training. So yes, you met one prerequisite with the 3-year, 5-year training that you experience that you have, but you need to meet the other prerequisites also. But yes, once you have all the prerequisites, you can absolutely go for a PMP.
Right. Great. And one more question. Okay, so how is it like preparing for project manager interview jobs? I think this is a valid question. Nikhil has this question on YouTube. How does one prepare, and what kind of questions can one expect after a PMP?
Usually, if you are already working as a project manager, you will find that whenever somebody puts a question for you, you can respond basis your experience. It's always good. I always recommend that check out the training that you already did, 35-hour contact hour training that you did. It helps you brush up on some of the words, some of the jargon, some of the stuff that you will readily be able to reference. So when you use some of these words, even though your experience says that you know everything, when you use some of these terminologies, some of this jargon, some of these things that you have done in the 35-hour training, it's the people get a little more comfort level saying that, okay, this person understands and has that experience that they're talking about. So I would suggest how to prepare depend on your project experience to brush up on the contact hour training that you have done. If you've done a PMP, you honestly don't need any additional preparation because your PMP is preparing you for it anyway. But you can just brush up on the 35-hour contact training just to kind of brush up just before the interview. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I think with that, if you want to take a few more questions, we still have 10
Yeah,
minutes.
sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I see one. Is PMP a high-level certificate for project management? Do we have to do more? So PMP is a certification. So Before that certification, for eligibility of the certification, you have to go through a 35-hour a training that you have to do. That will give you a certificate saying that you have gone through this training, and using that training certificate along with your experience and others, you can apply for a PMP credential through the PMI website and then go through that certification. So what Simplilearn offers is the prerequisite, the training, but the credential is PMP. They do not offer PMP. They offer you the training for the PMP. And PMP is globally recognized as a credential that says that, okay, this person is a certified project manager who knows how to deal with project.
Yeah. So in the beginning, someone is asking about the job market for PMP in Dubai. I'm not sure if it's relevant. It's very hard to say deep as to what the job market in a particular city is, but you do have a lot of opportunities, scope, like Monica highlighted in the beginning of the session, that what your scope is, and what your role is, and how it is kind of playing an important role in a certain company. So it's hard to pinpoint the job market in a certain city, just to answer your question there.
But be assured that whichever city, whichever country, if you have a PMP, it will certainly be a value add. That we can assure. But specifically, how is it for PMP? Maybe specifics we may not be able to respond, unfortunately.
Right. And what is the best way to handle a project with stakeholders who have conflicting interests?
Um, exactly as you will do all the other projects, because every project we will have stakeholders who have conflicting interests. You will find the developers want to, are also stakeholders. They want to push everything that everything is a tester's fault. Testers are going to push everything saying everything is developer's fault. The customers are going to push on the BAs are going to push on the customers. So you're going to be able to, you have to manage stakeholders exactly as you would for any project. Understand which stakeholders are critical, which stakeholders need to be informed, which stakeholders need to be involved. There's a stakeholder matrix that you will have to understand and then engage your stakeholders accordingly. Again, it's there in PMP, it's there in PMBOK. Go through it. It'll certainly help you. I don't think we can respond in a 1-2 minutes. It's a topic in itself.
And what are the AI tools that one should be learning if they want to become a project manager?
What I would suggest is check out the free courses, e-learning courses that PMI offers. It offers 3 for project managers and very, very helpful. And they're free, right, for members. One of them is, I think, free for all. The others are free for members. Check that out. That will give you the basic understanding of AI and the related information, data prompt, and all of that. You will prompt engineering, data landscape, Gen AI. You'll get all the information on that. Also, there's a new course that PMI has, not PMI, but actually it's a collaboration or acquisition with another vendor, a market leader in AI. There's another free course that they're also offering. You can check that out as well. Everything is there on the PMI website. Check that out. There's an AI resource center. It will point you to all the free resources and also the paid ones. The PMI resource center on the website is where you can start with.
Got it. And another question in PMP, how to reduce risk management will be impact to milestone. Okay, I didn't understand the question. If they could pose it clearly. Okay, how much time is required to prepare on an average for a PMP certification?
It's completely dependent on the individual. For me, it took me 2 weeks. And I know there are some people who take 3 months, some take 6 months, some people forget it and then they come back and they take it later. So what I can say is completely dependent on the person, how much time they can spend per day to study and prepare for the exam, and how much experience they have and how much of their experiences they remember properly. It's not like you're just doing something for the heck of doing, but you really understand and do what you're doing. So very, very person specific. I think Simplilearn also helps you with some study plans, if I'm not wrong, Aparna.
That's correct. That's correct. So for training schedules and all of that, you could head to the course page, but training is about a month long. Again, it depends on how long you take to complete the course. Is PMP the high level or the highest certificate that someone in project management should do, or is there more, or are there more certifications that one can take up?
PMP is seen as the gold standard certificate in project management. So if you have a PMP, you're the best. I don't think there's anything else that beats it. There are a couple other certifications, but nothing even comes close to PMP.
Okay, okay, okay. So are there any tools that a project manager should learn, like say Excel, Primavera, etc.?
I think Excel has become like a basic tool now. Everyone needs to basically understand how to use Excel. Doesn't have to get into details. You don't have to go into an Excel training, but the basic information of how to use an Excel is, I think, required for every professional out there, not just a project manager. But yes, some project management tools like Primavera, Jira, these kind of things are very helpful. If you know them, it's a fantastic value add. But again, each organization use different tools. So you cannot really say that this tool will help you. It depends. Some organizations use tool A, some use tool B. But yes, the most commonly used are, Jira is one of the most used ones. So certainly I would recommend get comfortable with that. Microsoft Project, many people used to use, but now with the shift slowly moving towards hybrid and agile, less and less people are using Microsoft Project. But again, different organizations, different practices, different expectations. So you may be asked to use different kind of tools. So the most common used tools is what I would suggest. Jira, Microsoft Project, I think are the ones which are very, very basic or mostly used.
Got it. And we'll take only these questions because we are already, closer to our end time. But it was great having you, Monica. Just a couple of more questions for you. For someone who is in the engineering technology field with 8 years of work experience in facilities management sector. So what is exactly their roadmap? And another one is about quality control. So someone has a quality control experience of 7 years. So they want to know what their roadmap and eligibility is.
I think somebody who's managing facilities, I believe there is still some project experience because you are releasing some facilities, you are planning for the facilities, you're working with people to delete. So it depends on whether there's a project in question that you can say that this is my project experience. It doesn't depend on which domain, doesn't depend on which industry or department. It depends on what is it that you're doing. If, for example, you're setting up a new facility, that it's a new project in itself, because you will do the entire activity that a typical project manager is going to be doing, or a typical project experience is required. Quality control may not be project experience unless you are somebody like a project coordinator who's also supporting in terms of how the project is, being done. Then it can be used as project experience. But if you're only as a quality control person, then you need to get a little more information that can fit into project experience as eligibility. I
Got
know
it.
we are time out. I've shared on the chat my LinkedIn profile in case some of you have any random questions and you would like to talk to me. Feel free. I'm also volunteering, as I said, with the PMI South Asia Champion Program. We kind of help aspirants in some of their questions. It's not training; it's just ad hoc volunteer. And if you have some questions and you need someone to answer your questions, I can either respond to you or route you with some people who can help you with some of the questions that you have. So feel free to reach out to me.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Monica, for the session today. It was insightful, amazing, all of that, and it was really informative. I hope the learners too found it insightful, and I hope that they take away these learnings, implement, and eventually also become PMP certified. So the poll is still live. I'm just going to end the poll here. Thanks so much for your interests in the training. Someone from the team, from the learning advisors team, will contact you and explain you the details of the certification training that we have, right? So that also brings us to the end of the session. And in case you want to have a webinar certificate, a proof of attendance of sorts, you can enter your name in the poll that I'm about to launch now. So you can use this certificate and also tag Monica on LinkedIn in case you enjoyed the session. Just you could share your thoughts and then share it on your social platforms as well. But before we close, Monica, do you have any closing thoughts, any advice? for our learners?
My only recommendation would be, if you are contemplating a PMP, please go ahead and take it more seriously and go for it. A PMP will certainly value add to your career if you are looking at the project management career in long-term path. But if you're not sure, take some time, get comfortable, and then make that decision. There are renewals that are expected to happen after you get a PMP certificate, and it's a long-term investment. So go for it once you're sure. And all the very best. Like I said, to do or not to do is your choice. But if you're serious about a project management career, then PMP is your answer.
Right. Great. Thanks so much, Monica. With that, I'll just take one last question. Sohaib, you had a question about the 100% money back guarantee policy. Now, for that, the right person is the learning advisor. So I've shared the link to the course page. Please drop your details there. And also, there's a chat bot that will pop up. So you can ask the same question there and someone will reach out to you. Okay? Right? So I think we are done with the session. It was great bringing this session to you. It was nice having learners from different countries with different backgrounds. It was great hosting all of you guys. And I hope you enjoyed as well. Great. Thanks so much, Monica, for your time today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Aparna, and thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the evening or day.